Buddha and the Insult, a story of anger and control. Beginning. A village mourning. Long ago, in the Magadha kingdom, there was a small village, peaceful, green, and filled with simple people living humble lives. Among them lived a young man named Arjun. He was a farmer by profession, but his temper was his biggest weakness. Even the smallest disagreement would set him ablaze. His anger was sharp, sudden, and dangerous. People avoided him. Even his own friends kept their distance, afraid of his unpredictable behavior. Arjun himself knew that his anger was ruining his life. Yet he could not control it. It was like fire. Once it began, it would burn everything around him and leave behind only regret. The arrival of the Buddha one day, a message spread through the village. Gautama Buddha had arrived in a neighboring town with his disciples and would visit their village the next morning to give a discourse. The villagers were filled with excitement and reverence. They began preparing the village streets with flowers and lights. But Arjun was irritated. Watching people clean the roads, decorate trees, and prepare garlands made him uneasy. He thought, who is this Buddha that everyone is going mad about? What can he teach me about life or discipline? I work hard. I fight my battles. I don't need a monk's words. That night, Arjun made a decision. He would go and insult the Buddha in front of everyone, expose him as a fraud, and show that no one could remain calm in the face of insult. The insult at the assembly. The next morning, under the shade of a grand peepal tree, Buddha sat on a simple mat. His disciples surrounded him. Villagers gathered in silence, eager to hear his words. There was an atmosphere of serenity, a calm stillness that seemed to envelop the entire place. Buddha began to speak. His voice was soft, filled with compassion. But just as he started, Arjun stood up and shouted, "You fake! You come here dressed in orange robes, pretending to be enlightened. What do you know about real life? All you do is mislead people with your empty words. You are a fraud, a coward, a beggar." Gasps spread across the crowd. Everyone turned toward Arjun in shock, then to Buddha, expecting anger, perhaps a rebuke. But the Buddha simply sat there, silent, serene, unmoved. After a pause, Buddha slowly looked up at Arjun and asked gently, "Son, if someone offers a gift to another, but the recipient refuses to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" Arjun was confused by the unexpected question, but replied, "If the person doesn't accept the gift, it stays with the one who offered it." Buddha smiled and said, "Exactly. In the same way, I do not accept your anger, your insults, your bitterness. They remain with you." The crowd fell silent. The message had pierced through everyone's hearts like a ray of light. Arjun, however, stood frozen. For the first time, someone had not responded to his fury with fear or rage, but with truth and calmness. Arjun's restless night. That night, Arjun could not sleep. The Buddha's words echoed in his ears again and again. "I do not accept your anger." He tossed and turned, reflecting on his life, his habits, and his constant inner turmoil. Why couldn't I control myself? Why did this man's calmness shake me so deeply? He realized that the true strength was not in shouting or reacting, but in staying calm when everything within you wants to explode. The apology and the teaching. The next morning, Arjun walked to the same peepal tree where Buddha and his disciples were staying. This time, he came with folded hands and tears in his eyes. "Lord, forgive me," he said. "I insulted you, but you gave me wisdom in return. I don't want to be ruled by my anger anymore. Please teach me how to control it." Buddha welcomed him with a gentle smile and said, "Come, sit beside me. Let me tell you a story." The story of the angry king. There was once a powerful king, Buddha began, who was feared across many lands. But he had one great flaw: his uncontrollable anger. Servants feared him, ministers obeyed him blindly, but all were unhappy. One day, a wise sage visited the court. The king welcomed him respectfully. The sage said, "O king, I have a question. When you become angry, do you feel peace?" The king replied, "No, I feel like I'm burning. My heart races, my body shakes, and I lose control." The sage smiled and said, then why do you cling to something that burns you from within? Anger is not a weapon, it is poison. That day, the king began his journey of transformation. Buddha looked at Arjun and said, "Anger is a fire. If you hold on to it, you are the one who burns first. Recognize it, watch it, do not feed it, and it will pass like a cloud." The practice of self-control, Buddha began teaching Arjun simple methods to deal with anger. Mindful breathing. Whenever anger arises, stop. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel the air going in and out. This slows the mind. Question the emotion. Ask yourself, is this anger useful? Will it solve the problem or will it add more pain? Compassion. Try to see the other person's suffering. Often, those who hurt us are themselves hurting. Silence. In anger, say nothing. Silence prevents damage. Speak only when your heart is calm. Daily meditation. Train your mind daily like a warrior sharpens his sword. Meditation gives you inner strength. Arjun began practicing these teachings with dedication. At first, it was difficult. His habits pulled him back, but slowly he changed. Transformation of Arjun weeks passed. Arjun no longer reacted immediately. When someone insulted him, he breathed. When someone lied to him, he paused. His eyes, once filled with fire, now held compassion. People in the village noticed the change. Children no longer ran away from him. Friends returned. Even enemies softened before him. One day, a man who had once quarreled bitterly with Arjun came to him and said, "You're not the same Arjun anymore. You used to terrify everyone. Now, you speak with such peace. What happened?" Arjun smiled and said, "I met someone who showed me that peace is not weakness. It is the greatest strength." The village transformed. As Arjun changed, others followed. The village slowly became more united. Quarrels reduced. People learned to listen, to understand, to forgive. Children were taught not just farming and crafts, but also meditation and patience. Buddha's visit had planted a seed, and it was now blooming into a garden of wisdom. Buddha remained in the village for a few more days, teaching, guiding, and blessing all. Before leaving, Arjun asked him one last question. The final conversation, Lord, Arjun asked, "Can anger be completely eliminated from the heart?" Buddha responded, "Anger is not an enemy. It is a messenger. It tells you that something is not right within. Don't suppress it. Don't act on it. Just understand it. Like a wound needs attention, anger needs awareness. And when your awareness deepens, anger dissolves. Not because you fought it, but because you no longer needed it. Real power," he continued, "is in remaining calm when you are provoked. That is true mastery of the self." Conclusion. A life-changing lesson. This is not just Arjun's story. It is the story of all of us. Those who struggle with anger, who hurt others without meaning to, and who want to change. Buddha's teachings show us that you can refuse to accept insults, they return to the giver. Anger doesn't need to control you. You can observe it, understand it, and let it go. Peace is a choice and a practice. Compassion can break the cycle of violence. Strength lies in patience, not in shouting louder. Words of the Buddha, "He who conquers himself is greater than one who conquers 1,000 enemies in battle." If you'd like, I can also create a series based on Arjun's continued spiritual journey, or adapt this into a stage play or short film script. Let me know how you'd like to explore further.